am Quinn Gorman, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on prejudice and discrimination in the classroom. Now, if I were to put these two words into their own section, prejudice is negative attitudes towards a specific group of people, while discrimination is a prejudice involving action towards those specific groups of people. And these two words, prejudice and discrimination, go hand in hand to separate our society as well as our students in the classroom. Now, in my next slide, I have a variety of words and phrases that involve prejudice and discrimination. And I have seen many of these, and actually all of these, in our classrooms. Now, a few of those that I would like to talk about are abilities, involving how we interact with people who have different abilities or limited abilities, such as if someone were to be in a wheelchair, there may be students who have abilities of playing sports or joining theater. Discrimination and prejudice also finds itself present in our race as a society, especially in the United States, whether you are Black, Asian, Native American, or Hispanic. Discrimination involving gender, such as norms that can alter the way we perceive others. I have listed financial class in the classroom, maybe in parental class. The students, a parent may have a job as a CEO, or maybe in the working class. There's also beauty norms that who is the sexiest in the class, who might not be considered sexy in the class. These are things that will always be happening in our classrooms. And as teachers, we have to take responsibility and bring awareness to these issues and topics of discrimination and prejudice in our classrooms. Now, in my second slide, I discuss my experiences in school, especially high school and even middle school, of discrimination that I have had, as well as discrimination that I have given. Now, the two pictures that I show are a group of theater students as well as a group of football players. Now, I never was a sport student, and I would always perceive these football players as sport jocks, the guys who always got laid, and simply cocky, in my opinion. And that was my discrimination towards them. Now, I obviously learned later on in high school that I could have great friendship with these wonderful people, and this was a form of discrimination that I had seen in my high school experience as well as middle school experience. If we go to the next slide, you'll see I have it listed as the simple act of ignorance. Now, these students aren't horrible people for expressing prejudice and discrimination, as we are simply expressing ignorance in our day-to-day lives. And it is important for teachers to understand that students will and have always done this, and we need to break away this ignorance and teach our students how to be more accepting and appreciate our differences. My next slide is titled Simple Society, the Simple Society. Now, as I have looked back on my middle school, elementary school, high school experiences, I have noticed that society and our education run very similar courses, and it is it is a privilege to be able to have this society that we can work on ourselves inside of and learn how to open up our minds to be a part of real society. And I think this is so very important. And school is not just about uh, core classes like math, science, history. It is so much more than that. And acknowledging that is very important. Now, my very last slide is how, as teachers, can we help and apply our own knowledge to our students that we will pretty soon teach. I think back to our early discussions of critical thinking theories and conversations, opening up these topics of discrimination and prejudice can provide an inclusive environment for all of our students combined. I really appreciate the time you've taken to listen to my presentation. And after our presentation is over, I would like you to think about some of the discrimination that you have seen, or prejudice that you have seen, or even have contributed in your schooling. Now, I do understand that we all have had our own prejudice, and it is important to acknowledge that to learn, because we don't learn until we actually immerse ourselves. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and goodbye.